Hello everybody, I'm Travis Edrington. I'm with Kris Allen. What's the earliest memory of music, and how did you know that you wanted to do music?
Earliest memory of music. That's a tough one. I feel like, music was always around. I feel like I remember my dad playing a lot. Not only playing music, but like in the house, but he also just played music. He sang and he played. I don't know if that was the first time that I had thought, okay, this is what I want to do. But I'd also started playing music when I was in the 4th grade too. Started playing in viola and was in the orchestra and stuff. So it was just, it's kind of been the one constant. I mean, not the one constant, but it's been a very constant throughout my whole life.
In 2013, you got into a pretty bad accident. What exactly happened, and how long was the recovery?
The recovery is like almost a year. The accident was, I got in a head-on car collision with my wife was in the car as well, and broke my wrist.
How was that? Since you use your wrist a lot for your career, yeah. How did that affect everything?
Yeah, it's affected. I mean, it's affected everyday life for sure, but more importantly, it's affected music stuff. I remember the first thing that I thought about whenever that happened was, I hope I get to play guitar again, and that was tough. You know, it's tough to even think that. But I think because I had that thought, and because that was almost taken from me in some way, I just wanted to work really, really hard to get it back. And I don't have the movement back, but I feel like I am a better guitar player because that happened. Because I was very diligent about I wanted to learn how. I have to play differently, and I wanted to figure out what that was going to look like. And so I took that year and really tried to figure that out.
What was that process like?
I did write a lot of songs. There's a lot of, I think that number gets thrown around, but I would say a lot of them are either unfinished, or it's something that you start and then you're just like, this isn't good enough, you know? So they kind of just get put in the vault somewhere. But I did write a lot of songs. I've written a lot of songs over the years. I mean, if you play the numbers game and you write, something like that for a record, then you're bound to come up with hopefully 10 to 12 to 13 great ones, or ones that are worthy to be on a record, and yeah.
It's too late, but it's not too late. Our hearts are hungry for food that won't come. And we could make a feast from these crumbs, and we're all staring at the barrel of our guns. And life flashed before you. What would you wish you would have done? Yeah, we gotta stop looking at the hands of the time. Stop taking it from a second gas on the park bench. Gotta live like we're dying. 86-4 on the second Saturday. To turn it all around, throw it our way. Gotta tell them that we love them while we got the chance. Gotta live like we're dying. Plane fell out of the sky. Who would you call with your last one goodbye? Should be so careful we let fall out of life. Long for absolution, there'll be no one on the line. Yeah, we gotta stop looking at the hands of the time we've been giving it. This is all we got, and we gotta stop taking it to a second gas on the park bench. Gotta we're dying. 86-4 on the second Saturday. To turn it all around, throw it all away. Gotta tell them that we love them while we got the chance. Gotta live like we're dying. You never know a good thing till it's gone. You never seen a passion tell. So everything will right when we're there.
on American Idol, and do you still keep in touch with some of the contestants that you were with?
I do, yeah. I mean, what was it like? That's a crazy question. I feel like my memories of that year are somewhere in a part of my brain just packed away, and it's not that I don't want to think about it, but it was it felt so unreal, and it all happened so fast for me that when I think about it now, it almost makes me nervous, more nervous than I ever was then, and but I did enjoy being on the show. I think my favorite part of being on the show was those people, the contestants that I was with, and the people that worked on the crew and all that, because we were all doing this together. It was something new for us, and it was fun, but it was also stressful, and I don't know, I relied on that energy from them, and they're like, we were all compadres, you know, and I relied on that to kind of get me through that moment. It was never a competition between me and them. It was always a competition with myself, and I'm glad that they were a part of it. But really, I love all of them so much.
What was Simon like behind the scenes?
Funny, really funny. He was cracking jokes. We didn't spend a ton of time with him outside of the show, or outside of, behind the camera. But when we did, he was always really sweet and really funny. Yeah.
Yeah, on the show he seemed like really
honest.
Yeah.
I don't know. For me, I remember when I was watching the show before I was even on it, he would say things, and for me, being a musician, I would be like, he's kind of right. Maybe not every time, but I think that you need people like that especially in this industry when everyone is trying to be nice to each other. I feel like we need those people that go, that's not good enough. I'm okay with that.
You struggle with self-doubt. What was that like, and how did you overcome it?
Self-doubt is something that I do deal with, but I think it's part of what makes me me. I think because I'm in a business where that's a lot of us have that. A lot of us feel like we're not good enough, where we compare ourselves to other artists or artists of the past, and we're like, we'll never be that good. So you just have to kind of, for me, it's one of those things where I have to tell myself almost every day, like, Kris, people like what you do. You just got to keep doing it and get better at it. And you can get better at it, but keep doing it. And so, I think I take both those things to heart, where I do have to do it every day. But if I want to feel better about what I'm doing, then I do have to get better at it. And that takes time. That takes practicing. That takes being diligent and not getting lost in self-doubt.
What's one thing you enjoy about money and one thing you don't really enjoy?
Oh my gosh. I think that's an interesting question. I feel like money can be, if you don't have it, then it's almost like you wish you did, and then the moment you have it, you're like, what am I supposed to do with this? And you feel like it can make you feel good that you do have it, and that's I don't like that about it. But I also don't have. We have done well for ourselves, but we're not billionaires,
Yeah.
We live a very comfortable life, and we're very blessed to do that. But we don't have houses all over the world or anything like that.
You're no longer with RCA. What made you decide to leave them and go to another label?
It was definitely not me leaving them. I think it was a mutual agreement for me to step away from the label, and I think it was better for everybody. I also have some really great friends still there, and I think there's very much a mutual respect between me and them. They did great things for me that I will always be grateful for, and they helped launch my career. They were sweet, sweet people, and I still talk to some of them. I still ask some of them their opinions because they're really smart and great at what they do, and they're in charge of some of the biggest artists in the world, and so I love a lot of people over there.
Last question. You worked on 5 albums since winning American Idol.
Mm-hmm.
Which one was your favorite to work on?
This is going to sound crazy. Probably the Christmas record. There was no pressure behind it. There was like a clear cut, this is what I want this record to be. I want it to feel like it steps back in time a little bit and makes you feel like you were sitting by a fireplace in an armchair with maybe a drink, and you're enjoying Christmas time. And that's what it feels like to me. And we had so much fun recording it. I had fun writing the songs, and I feel like you can tell that. And so that weirdly is my favorite record that I've done. That's why I've done this is the second year of this tour that we're doing right now.
How did you go about deciding which songs made it on the record? Like, you don't have Santa Claus is Coming to Town or Rudolph on this record.
Well, some of it was we wanted to pick as many public domain songs as possible, but we wrote a lot of songs for the record, and we wanted to, we were trying to come up with what songs can we do an interesting version of that maybe no one has heard before, and a different version of, like, Here Comes Santa Claus. And I think the only song that we do on the record that kind of feels like all the other versions is Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree. All of the other ones feel like we reinvented them in some way, and I love that. That's the biggest reason why those songs ended up on the record.
Yeah, I did like your arrangement of Here Comes Santa Claus.
Thanks,
on
man.
the record.
Thank you so much. That means a lot.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, man. Thank you for having me.
Santa Claus, 'cause he shows up most everywhere we go. I swear that we just saw him in the shopping mall, but now here he is ringing this bell at the grocery store. I know you told me that his reindeer move at lightning speed. How did his eyes turn from blue to brown? His sleigh might be magic, but it don't make sense to me. How in 20 minutes flat did he lose 30 pounds? Well, mommy, is there more than just one Santa Claus? 'Cause he shows up most everywhere we go. Yeah. Don't clap for that. How did his nose get bigger just like that? His sleigh might be magic, but it don't make sense to me. Tell me how on earth did his skin change from white to black?